We have the past, the present, and the future all stacked on top of each other, all happening at the same time.
I'm confused. I have this very distinct memory of scrolling through Twitter and Instagram and TikTok this past New Year's Eve, and pretty much every post went a little something like, "Look out, because 2020 is gonna be my year. Just you wait. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna accomplish all the goals on my vision board, and everybody's gonna be shipping my perfect relationship on Instagram, and I'm totally gonna crush it at school, and..." Aw, what innocent babies we were. We had no idea that 2020 was gonna turn into such a flaming dumpster fire of a year. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could just skip out on the rest of the year and spend it in another year? Sorry, just fantasizing here. But this brings me to the riddle of last episode. What's in the future or the past, but is also happening now? I've given you a pretty good hint. If you know the answer, shout it out on 3. 1, 2, 3. Time travel. That's right, I've always been fascinated with time travel. A couple months ago, I even made a YouTube video called Is Time Travel Real? And while I encourage you to check it out, spoiler alert, no, at this present moment, on planet Earth, time travel is not considered possible.
When it comes to time travel, to me, one of the most exciting parts, and I'm curious to see if you agree with this, is the inconsistencies, or as we might say, paradoxes that occur because of just the idea of time travel.
Like the whole idea, like, oh, like if I go back in time and kill my grandpa, would I ever like be able to even go back in time and kill my grandpa? Meaning that I wouldn't be there, but would I be there type of thing?
Oh, exactly.
But even though we're stuck in the here and now, we can still have a super fun escape revisiting some of our favorite time travel TV shows and movies. So fire up the DeLorean and get in know-it-alls, because I'm taking you back to the future. So I wanted to do this episode because the second season of The Umbrella Academy just dropped on Netflix, and I got sucked in so hard. I'm basically stuck in a time loop. Here's the cliff notes to catch you up if you haven't seen the show.
I have adopted 6 children, gifted with abilities far beyond the ordinary. I give you the Umbrella Academy.
And one of these kids, a character named Five, has the ability to jump through time and space. Except at the end of the first season, Five doesn't just travel himself, he brings his brothers and sisters back to the 60s along with him.
1963.
I don't want to tell you any more because this really is a must-see TV if you're a sci-fi fan like me, but it got me reminiscing about all my other favorite time travel narratives. I know at the end of my YouTube video, I said we should all live in the now because our time here is limited, so stop taking the present for granted and yada yada yada, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy a little time travel fiction. As science fiction writer Isaac Asimov famously said, time travel is theoretically impossible, but I wouldn't want to give it up as a plot gimmick. Touché, it's hard to argue with that. So let's start traveling time courtesy of the good old-fashioned Hollywood time machine. So around the same time that movie technology was just being invented, H.G. Wells wrote a science fiction novella called The Time Machine in 1895. This was the story that first popularized the concept of time travel by mechanical means, which inspired countless other movies, TV shows, and literary works to riff off this plot device. Time machines are one of the main plot devices of the time travel genre.
But it brings up one of my favorite points about time travel that they never seem to talk about, is when you travel through time. Let's use the DeLorean in Back to the Future. It's a machine, it's no longer set on the ground. It moves, it drives, or it flies, depending on which sequel we're talking about. How do you know where you would end up? Because time is fixed, but space isn't.
Let's say there's a dude that goes into like an empty field like 200 years ago, and he shoots for 200 years, and then bam, he's just like in the middle of concrete in New York City.
Yeah.
He's inside a building now, but dead because he is in the wrong spot.
Because that's the thing, like everything changes around him.
The other is a time slip, which allows a person or people to travel through time via unknown means. According to Daryl Schweitzer, author of The Fantastic Horizon, a major difference from mechanical time machine stories is that in time slip stories, the protagonist typically has no idea what's going on and no control over the time travel process. They are either left marooned in a past time and must make the best of it, or are eventually returned by a similarly unpredictable process. Theoretically, time slips could be possible via what physicists refer to as wormholes. Word alert. You know what that means, know-it-alls. I just got a word alert. When I say wormholes, I'm not talking about a garden infestation here. In this context, a wormhole is defined as the hypothetical connection between widely separated regions of spacetime. Think of it as a secret passageway or a sort of secret tunnel where you can very quickly traverse a large swath of spacetime. Wormholes are consistent with the general theory of relativity, but whether wormholes actually exist remains to be seen. But we can still enjoy them for our entertainment.
I wish I had a piece of paper next to me. But you know, what's the point of
The whole folded piece of paper with the pen through it.
Yeah, from Event Horizon, that's where I learned it. That's my favorite visualization of it, is that it basically bends point A and point B and puts them together. It's a shortcut through time and space.
Another thing you see a lot in time travel movies is the time loop. The Encyclopedia of Science Fiction defines a time loop as a plot device in which periods of time are repeated and re-experienced by the characters. Typically, these stories end when the protagonist breaks out of the cycle of repetition. A time loop could also be called Groundhog Day, in reference to perhaps the most famous time loop movie of all time, Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray. In this 90s movie, his character is forced to relive February 2nd, aka Groundhog Day, over and over until he learns from his mistakes, becoming less selfish and more caring with each loop. He has to grow into a better person in order to break out of the time loop. This is a popular hallmark in time loop narratives.
Does he keep going? Because again, it's just his memory that's going back in time. So again, are we stuck on another little loop? And time is still going forward after that day. It's just that the memory that this Bill Murray has is from the future.
But I have to say, one of the most intriguing theories to play out on screen is the butterfly effect. Word alert! Whoa, cool, double word alert. The butterfly effect is a term coined by mathematician Edward Lorenz to describe events observed in chaos theory, where one teeny tiny change in the initial conditions can result in vastly different outcomes. This phenomenon has become a popular time travel trope and even inspired the 2004 movie called The Butterfly Effect starring Ashton Kutcher. I've seen the butterfly effect play out in countless movies and TV shows, but it never gets old. I think that's because it shows the power of smaller actions. And on a grander scale, I love the genre of time travel in entertainment because it begs a huge set of fascinating questions about what would be possible in a world where time wasn't fixed, like time tourism, teleportation, and even immortality.
I guess it'd be more like time voyeurism instead of tourism, because you can't really interact with things. You'd have to specifically not interact. You could watch, but you can't obviously influence anything. Because those implications, if we talk about like the butterfly effect, stuff like that, could be far-reaching and never-ending.
Maybe someday time travel will be possible. In fact, a few months ago, a group of NASA scientists working on an experiment in Antarctica detected evidence of a parallel universe. But as long as they keep making good TV about it, I don't even care. It's really fun to think about, but the truth is, in reality, time travel would probably be more of a waking nightmare than a fun escape. Hit me up on TikTok and Instagram at OnlyJS or Twitter at NotJS and let me know what year you would want to travel to if you could. Would it be in the past or in the future? Let the people know what you have going on.
Well, you can check me out on youtube.com/vsauce3, and that's really about all I got. That's all I have in my life is that YouTube channel.
Check out Vsauce3. Join me again in 2 weeks for another episode of Know It All.